Alright, hello everyone. This is going to be a quick update to the current Force Wheel format. We are currently getting spoilers for Masterpiece 2. We haven't gotten all of them yet, but we're like halfway through it, so I'll just go over like some of the stuff that we have now. But first, a quick channel update. I haven't uploaded any Forza Wheels or anything like that lately, just because the like editing takes a lot of effort, and I've been pretty busy with school and stuff. So I haven't been uploading too much, but this will probably just be like a one take, like unedited, quick little thing. Um, so starting off, Zero's stuff is really good. I think Zero is probably one of the better like decks that we've gotten new stuff for so far. The Sub Ruler takes away Eternal Barrier and has free removal for anything that has fewer or more keywords, and then draws a card too. So it's really strong there. And then 4 and 0, Zero's familiar, both ramp a stone now, recovered. And 4 is untouchable too while doing that. So, like, really strong. And then Zero's Garden lets you get your Sub Ruler even going second, because you can Godsart it to get your Sub Ruler set up. And then once you get set up, you just have like all your removal is guaranteed to work because there's no Eternal Barrier, and it's just like super easy to remove whatever you want to remove and then ramp a bunch of will, so you're just always like outvaluing the opponent. It's very strong. Adalbert, I'm kind of on the fence about. There's a really good lock with his Regalia slash Sub Ruler with Muse Spirit, the Mirage Spirit, and Xylos is a good beat stick, but I don't know. I just haven't played him too much, so I'm not sure how like easy or hard the lock is to out. It probably depends on the matchup, but it's pretty good. Flute, after playing with for some time, I feel like there's better rulers. I think Ainz does a better job than Flute at being just like playing good stuff and like getting the draws every turn and stuff. I think Ainz just does it better. But like she's still good. She still has some stuff. Her judgment can like add back stuff that goes to grave, which is, you know, interesting. And the world creating paradox does some funny stuff. But I'm like, I thought she was pretty good when she first came out, but like the more I've played with her, the more I'm like, maybe she's just kind of mid. But Featsing is super fun. Featsing I like a lot, but I don't think she's very good. I think going second, it's very hard to win with her. Most of the other Fate rulers have like some amount of benefit going second. Featsing has like none. It's like so hard to get going at all going second. It's so slow going second. Going first though, it's pretty crazy. Scholar can do some crazy stuff. Sun Wukong, I haven't played with too much, just like one game. But he seems pretty okay. There's like a infinite with tanks on Zhang if you get 2 of them out, and a cloning magic where you can get infinite +1s, and like the taxes are pretty good depending on the matchup. He does struggle with like bigger boards and stuff, but you know, I think there's definitely ways you can like work around that with him. He definitely has like I see a potential higher like ceiling for him if you like practice with him a lot. I just haven't played him a ton. Mikage we don't know anything about yet. Basically, Umer has an FTK. I don't know how like good the FTK is specifically, but even without the FTK, Umer's stuff is like pretty crazy. You can pretty like consistently like discard a ton of cards from the opponent. Zakaba, if you have the Sub Ruler, this activate ability is free, so you can do it twice because he'll start with 5 counters. It costs 2 counters to do it, so you can do it twice off the bat. You make both players discard a card twice, and then you draw 4 cards. So it's pretty crazy. And then when it's destroyed, makes the opponent discard 2 more cards. So you just like keep the opponent on never having a hand. And then the FTK, like you can get to the FTK whenever. It doesn't need to be like an immediate thing. His J Ruler side also helps like out a lot of stuff with the like destruction, because you can just judgment him to have just one counter end of turn, wipe all one drops. If there's a one drop that's like annoying, if there's a like I don't know, like a therapist, you can just like pay one to judgment him and then wipe it at the end of turn. There's a I don't know, if there's a Spear of the Mirage Ruins, play it for one, wipe that, you know. So it's got some versatility, it's got some like flexibility to play through stuff, and like yeah, I think it's a real deck. Like it's not just a gimmick. Millium, I haven't really played with too much yet, but his support looks pretty crazy. And Frog is the best card in the game, so it's got to be pretty decent. I just haven't played him yet. I think the Luminaries are up there. I think Luminaries and like Zero and maybe Umar is up there with them too, are like the best ones so far. And Gil Giotto, which I will talk about later. But these guys, I've only played one game with them so far, but in that one, like sometimes one game is all you really need to like know. It was Sol plus Mars was the version I'm running right now, but I think Sol plus Mercurius has its own stuff too. I just think Uranus plus Pluto is like really cracked, because Pluto can search and then Uranus's token recovers it to search again, and then the token from Pluto can recover it again to search again, so you can just like search and search and search like in a row in the same turn. Plus you're making will off Uranus, so you can use that will for like removal or interaction, and then or to like flash in another Uranus, get another token, and keep doing it. And the Pluto just searches you all your ancient magics. So you can play like kind of a toolbox of ancient magics, and then the deck has like a ton of recursion. It's super easy to get stuff set up. You can Metal Helix remove any of your luminaries. You can remove your Uranus plus Pluto off Metal Helix, and then you can play them from removed area. So it's like essentially searching them and wiping the board and drawing you cards. That's pretty crazy. And then it has just like a ton of incidental burn and damage that you get from just swinging with Uranus a bunch. And yeah, so tons of free damage, tons of free will, super consistent to like set up, and then tons of recursion. So like a lot of really good stuff. And off the like searches from Pluto, you can just like within like 2 turns, like your turn plus opponent's turn, search like a full playset of Heartfelt Fire and just spam them to gain a ton of counters. So then you just have like a million counters and then drop a Steam Explosion or something. So pretty crazy. And then Persia, I haven't tried too much yet. I know there's an infinite with the Regalia and a Fiery Snake, or Regalia plus Isis, either one. Because the Regalias, if you have 2 of them, the Mythic sends the other one to grave, and you can play them from grave. And then on enter, flickers a stone, which triggers the Snake to make a will, which pays for the next one to play it from grave, and then it just cycles back and forth. And as you cycle through your stones, you like draw infinite cards with the Memoria, so you can like draw your whole deck and stuff. I haven't actually played it yet, but drawing your whole deck seems pretty decent. It doesn't seem like it's too hard to set up. But even without that, like, play a Guardian Dragon, get Swiftness, swing with it immediately. Swiftness flying, like just swing with stuff every turn. I never like played against this when it was at its full power, but even now with a lot of the stuff we have, seems pretty decent. And then Gil Lapis Giotto is pretty bonkers. It's got a lot of crazy stuff. It's got Ashwind is just non-targeting, non-destruction removal for like any of the floodgates, because it can target a Regalia. Well, it doesn't target, but it can remove a Regalia, so it can outmask, it can out like anything. You can't remove Therapist is like the only thing, because it can't be removed, but if they're solo mode. But like removes Spirit of the Mirage Ruins, removes the Shaman, removes anything, and then gets you a card, any cryptid from deck. And since it's a cryptid, when you play it, you draw a card. So like it just does so many things. It gives your stuff multi-strike Bane, so it's also like putting damage pressure out. if you grab a Cryptid Resonator, it draws you a second card for getting that out. And you can play it from grave, so it's like you can sack it off and then like replay it. So much stuff you can do. And then Empty Vessel is a fog and turns off 3 cost or higher stuff. So good at stopping like aggro decks and stuff. The deck has like ways to cover like every base. The addition isn't in Force of Wind yet, but the addition stops mirror, stops a lot of stuff, and it's a board wipe for blue-green stuff, and grave removal, which doesn't matter because you're already playing Geodo anyways. And then you're also just at end of turn removing cards for free, so it's just like free incidental removal from that. So you have some inevitability from that, and then you eventually get to where you can just Judgment Lapis, get your Sub-Ruler, and then the Sub-Ruler pays for Lapis to copy the stuff that's face down that you can flip face up to the copy. And then the Empty Vessel can copy his ability, so you can do like tap Empty Vessel for 1 plus 1 stone to copy a 2 cost, and then pay another 1 with a stone to copy Gil Lapis and copy a second 2-drop. So you basically get 2 2-drops for 2. 2 2-drops for the price of 1, if that makes sense. And you just steal them from the opponent. So it's free, super free. Yeah, there's so much versatility with this deck at like stopping things, and yeah, has a ton of options, has a ton of free value from just playing anything. Yeah. The one thing I will say though about the Gil Geodo deck is Goliath's Command is really good against it, because most of the good cards are 2 costs, and Goliath's Command expels them, so you can't just like replay them from grave and stuff. So, and like none of the stuff has untouchable. So if you're just playing a bunch of cancels, that's like one thing that the deck is kind of weak against. But aside from that, it's pretty good. That's why I think Gil Geodo can make pretty good use of the light ABC chant that we got. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I don't remember, but like stops your next spell from being targeted by wind and water spells and abilities. I think that's going to be pretty good in this deck, because you can just do that and then go into one of your big plays and then get a bunch of value. Lilius Petal can do some silly stuff. You can get like all your stones by turn 3, which is pretty crazy, but it also has a lot of stuff that is like good against it. We have a lot of stuff these days that like stops this cheating out things and all that, but I think he's still like decent. He's got some cool plays, but I don't know if I would put him on like the same tier as Gil Geodo and Zero and Umer. And that's all we have so far, so still waiting for more new stuff, but that's what we got so far. That's what I'm looking at. And then right now, another reason why I'm not making a lot of videos is because I'm working on this project of doing like a mock tournament. I put 48 decks together, including all of the new rulers that are getting support. As you can see, I have some of the rulers that like haven't gotten their support yet, so I don't have the decks built for them yet, but whenever we get the support for them, then we'll play out those matchups. But basically what we're doing is we get the decks and we sit down and we kind of both play both decks. Me and my partner do. And we are like trying to like optimize each play, like sit down and like figure out what would be like the quote unquote best play. I mean, it's subjective, of course, kind of, but like try and figure out like what would I do as this player, like what feels like it would be like the best play. And we're like allowing takebacks because we want to make the decks, like we want this to show off the power of the decks rather than our skill as players. So we can try and find like what the best decks are. So I'm gonna include a link to this in the description so you can like if anyone is interested, you can like watch the progress of this as it unfolds. And if anybody is interested, we are super down to have anyone like sit in and watch slash discuss plays with us and stuff, and like just help play out some of the matchups. Like if there's like any of the decks that like you have any amount of knowledge about that you want to like sit in for the matchup and like watch the match play out, you can certainly do that. Just message me on Discord and say, hey, I want to sit in for whatever match and like maybe help pilot one of the decks. Then you can do that. Try and like push your favorite deck like up the bracket. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, just let me know if anyone wants to do that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have the link in the description. You can see how it goes, and we'll see. I mean, obviously, don't like all the decks are built by me, or like a few of them are like inspired by other people's deck lists, but like tweaked a bit. So they're all kind of using my own like personal ideas of what's like good for the deck, which might not be the same way that other people look at the decks. So like whatever the result of this ends up being, take it with a grain of salt, because it'll probably not be how like an actual tournament would turn out, because it'll be kind of skewed by what I like playing and stuff, you know. So, and again, it is subjective, like what plays are the most optimal plays. We're just trying to like figure out what feels the best to play, like what plays feel the best. But yeah, as you can see, Odin got very unlucky getting matched up against Giotto immediately, which was not too good. Lucy got a bit of a surprise win against Moonglow. It was really close though. That was a very hard matchup to like figure out what would be like the most optimal for both players. It took a while, but it was good. Aristel Little Red versus Nyarlathotep could have gone either way, honestly. But it was pretty close. It's an aggro matchup, so it was just like whoever hits face first wins. But Aristel Little Red had just a little bit more. Like it was super close that last game, but Grizzless and Milas 2-0'd Hyde because of a little thing called Fire Pit Trap. And that was like the main thing carrying that. Just Fire Pit Trap plus Milas burning for 2 every turn. Like just was a little bit too much for Hyde to like get anything set up. Like it got to the point where Hyde couldn't play anything without dying, so that's rough. Rushiel Chance. Rushiel's just a beast, and the XR is crazy. So Solaria like barely eked out the win against Lilius Petal in the last game, so that matchup was also super close. But I feel like Solaria is not super long for this world, but I had to put Solaria in the bracket just to see how she's stacking up. She made it past round 1. Ainz versus Moonless Moonglow is also super close, but both Moonglow variants like barely lost their first rounds, which is sad to see. I really love Moonglow, but I also really love Ainz, and I think Ainz is like pretty cracked right now. Kilo versus Ragnarok was also really close. Luminaries versus Lehen was not close at all. Luminaries are crazy. Lehen right now just I don't think had the tools nor the consistency. Without like Kiki drawing a bunch of cards, she just kind of runs out of cards, and like there's not nearly as many good hits off the top anymore, so it's just kind of rough, and the aggro from the Luminaries was just too much. Viola versus Undine. This is a Mask Undine version, so Viola does not have a lot of good ways to deal with Mask. And it wasn't just Mask, because Viola had outs to Mask, but it was Mask plus Grimoire, so couldn't banish. And most of the ways in darkness to outmask is with banishing, and Viola's locked to darkness. So really, really tough combination there. And then Time Spinning Witch versus Umer FTK. The Time Spinning Witch list is taken from Mitakun. You can find it in the Discord server somewhere. It's using the Moonless Knight XR. So these are both FTK decks. The only two FTK decks in the whole bracket got paired up against each other, and it was pretty much just a complete die roll of who gets the, like, who has the outs versus who draws their FTK and who has the outs. And Umer ended up being the lucky one there. Super quick matchup up to like play out. It was like 15 minutes basically of just like draw the opening hands, like roll, see who goes first, draw the opening hands. Okay, here's the FTK. Do you have the out? No? Okay, next game. that was pretty much the matchup. And then Seer Zaki. Solo Seer is kind of good. Even through, like, the Zaki deck is like using the mulligans to find like masks and stuff. And Seer just has like some pretty good ways to deal with mask. Especially Solo Seer has like good outs to mask, so yeah. And then still have yet to play out these matchups. There's still the matchups that we don't have support yet. And then there's still the losers round bracket that I want to do. So still a lot of matchups to do. There's going to be like almost 100 matches total, and I'm trying to do like 1 or 2 every day, and hopefully more on weekends. So yeah, if anybody wants to like help me grind these out, it would be much appreciated because there's so many. Yeah, we need data. Data is super important. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope it was enjoyable. Hope you I don't know, like what I'm doing. Hope it's okay that I don't upload too much these days. But if you want, I could do more videos like these where it's just like an unedited, one take kind of thing. Just let me know in the comments. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out.